Shake the confessions. Don't stir them. The Shaken Confession Podcast, where we spill the tea, okay?
Hey, everybody.
Okay.
We are back with episode 2. Thank you guys for tuning in into the Shaken Confessions podcast.
We didn't get fired. Keep streaming, please.
Keep those streams going.
We need this job.
Absolutely. Keep them coming in.
Yes. So what are we talking about today, ladies?
So today I'm going to tell you guys how to make an old-fashioned. Then we're going to dive into some old-fashioned bar rumors, bar myths that you might know about, that you think you know, but you really don't know.
Okay.
We're going to give you some insight on that. And then maybe a couple different fun.
Yeah.
Teas.
You never know what we do.
You never know. You never know
what we do.
So I'm going to tell you guys how to make an old-fashioned, how I make my old-fashions. It's pretty simple, but it also requires just a little bit of love. That's how I like to say it for myself.
Yeah.
So you can start off with either a brown sugar cube or a white sugar cube. No racism here, so that's so we don't care which.
Inclusive. We're inclusive.
You can do whatever kind of cube you would like. You take one sugar cube, you do a couple shots of little bitters, and then you also, what I do is splash it with soda water, so it helps absorb the sugar and you can muddle it easier. And then when you muddle that, then you add in your bourbon, which I usually use 2 to 2.5 ounces. Then you put your ice cubes in, start stirring, and then you put in either an orange slice. That's what I like to do. A lot of people like to do cherries as well, and some people even put a little bit of orange juice in it. I don't do orange juice unless people like the little bit more flavor, but that's kind of where people, they don't want it as strong, right? But old fashions are
Liquor,
right? So that's kind of what we're looking at, and you can catch us on our YouTube channel where we're going to show you exactly how to make the cocktails. But we just wanted to give you an example of how we make it in real time. So
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
So let's get into it, you guys. Old fashioned, we have it here. Let's get into old fashioned bar myths and old fashioned ways of thinking.
What's the big one where everyone says it's just a side gig?
right,
There is nothing side giggish about being a bartender.
absolutely not.
We are definitely hard workers. We're shrinks, we're psychologists, we're therapists.
Yes,
We are athletes.
yes, yeah.
We are news anchors. You need to know the
Right.
daily news, what's going on in the world.
Right.
Everything. You're a friend, a
Exactly.
companion.
To everybody. You have to be a friend to 1,000 people a day.
And you also see, I also noticed, bartenders are of all ages, right?
Yes.
Your favorite bartender might be 75 years old,
I've
right?
had one for sure.
Me too.
Yeah.
You go to your bartenders who you like to look at, and you go to your bartenders who actually know what they're doing, and then it's different kind of categories, but it's across the board, and I feel like it is not just a side gig. You're definitely gonna go into it's a job. It's a profession for sure.
I would say most bartenders kind of bartend to pay for their lifestyles of what they really want to do.
It always starts that way, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. So
Whether you're in college, whether you want to be, actor, actress, whatever, it always is what you start off as a side gig. But when you make that bread,
Yes.
you realize it's not a side gig.
Right.
It's
When you're
not.
walking home with that cash in hand and you're at the internet, you're like, oh, 1, 2, 5.
Right.
I mean, let's be real. And honestly, this isn't even a flex. This is actually something that's not even great on a society standpoint to talk about our society, but we make more than what teachers make.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely.
We easily
Of
pull
course.
in more than what a teacher makes. And like I said, that's not a flex because teachers are teaching our next generation. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation I won't even get into, but I just want to put that out there. It's
Right.
not a flex, but
Right.
It's the
facts.
reality.
It's
It
the
is
reality.
Yeah.
It's not a side gig because we're pulling in
thousands of dollars in a week.
easy.
Easily.
Easy.
I mean, not to flex, but last weekend I made $1,000 in 2.5 days.
Can I hold something?
Right.
But that's also because I'm a great bartender. No, I'm saying, but
That too. No, that's another thing to really talk about is the fact that anyone could be a bartender getting a job and be behind a bar, but if you're only pulling in, you know what I'm saying, $50 in tips for that day, granted if it's like a slow day, whatever, you know, you have different things, but if it's a place where it's supposed to be jumping and money's pulling in, like that's going to tell your talent and your skill right there how much money.
I always have people say to me, why you always make so much money? I'm like, how you're not making so much money?
How are you not?
How is that possible?
I used to have the customers
on a slow night. I'm like, I'm walking on a slow night, with a couple hundred, right? I mean, it even depends on the atmosphere and the bar that you're in or the event, but I'm talking about like restaurants and events and stuff like that, where you're, not comparing, but I'm like, I don't understand how you were not making at least a couple $100.
I'm saying the same thing. Like I have the customers who tip me on their first drink before the night gets started. They're like, here's $100. Take care of me the rest of the night. So if you have a couple of people doing that, like, okay, I paid my card note in my first 5 minutes of working today.
Right.
Yeah.
Like literally that was goals. Like going into bar scenes and being like, okay, I got my car note. I got to get a new wig for my Miami trip and I need some red bottoms. Boom. So you was like Friday night was like wig money. Right. And then Saturday night was like red bottom money. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like it literally was that. Like, and I remember back in the days, like even working in the club scenes, we used to throw parties for like the stupidest stuff.
Oh my
gosh.
To get people to come in.
And come in and tip. Like I would be like, broke up with my boyfriend. I'm single again.
Send out a mass text.
And like, I'm talking about the bar would be filled with men.
Packed to capacity. Packed to capacity.
And I would put like a little pin on that's like, I'm single. And they would just be throwing 20s.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
how was I not a part of this?
I don't know.
Because you came into the that scene later.
I was in Vegas trying to get my way home. That was the problem.
Bartending on my birthdays was the favorite. Like, put a little pin on. You're coming out like with bills paid for 3 months on your birthday. Facts. Like, send out a text. Everybody comes and pulls up. Like, it is nothing side giggish about being a bartender. We make so much money. We are set for life. I've retired from bartending and I have come back multiple times because the money is just
it's too good.
It's too good, So
what about bartenders or drunks?
You guys, I have something to say about that.
We like to drink. That is number one.
I am definitely the bartender who does not drink most times. And if I'm taking shots with my customer, my shots are usually water. So I'm probably going to be.
No, I'm too, because here's my thing. I can't now on a sense of like going out and partying. Oh, yeah, I'm drinking. I'm turning up. I'm, you know what I'm saying, popping bottles, whatever. But if I'm at work, why the hell do I want to be drunk? I don't care just because I'm a bartender. That means I'm supposed to be drunk. No, like I can't be out there partying. So I'm supposed to just be drunk standing behind this register, just lit. Like that's stupid. Like I'm not doing that. So I'm the same. Like on the shift, like I think there's maybe a handful of times where I'll be like, like this was a crazy shift. Like I need a shot because this one took a lot out of me or something like that. But on the
on the regular basis, I'll probably say on the slow nights are the nights that I'm
Country's
drinking.
Like, wait a minute.
She's like, I'm getting turned every night.
What y'all be doing?
Let me see.
No, I mean, I totally in control, obviously. But when I'm having a good time, I have a drink behind the bar. I know what my drink is to not go over the limit, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then on the other side of the bar, I know what my drink is to go over the limit, which we don't go there anymore. But we're past that age, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'll have one or two or three if that's what it is. But it's not like it's the energy for me and the adrenaline rush when I'm behind the bar. I don't have the drunkenness like falling over.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing at all times. I know what the cocktails are. I know the audience. I know all of those kinds of things, and the guests, of course. And I always take care of them. And that's why I get all the 5-star reviews. But so that's just kind of where my lines lie with that. I don't say I'm only gonna have one tonight, or I'm only gonna have
you go with the flow.
I just go with the flow. Mm-hmm. But when you sit down, when the sit down happens, and you ladies know about when you sit down after the night of 7 hours of bartending.
And you feel like a whole bottle of vodka was dumped on top of your
You're
head.
just like this. and you're out. So and you're exhausted from that. But I don't think bartenders are drunks. I know a lot of bartenders who don't even drink.
Me.
But I think that bartenders should at least know to taste the drinks and know what they taste like, right? When I was first trained, everybody's like, taste this, taste that. I'm like, I don't want to taste a Scotch drink. I don't like Scotch. But you have to know
how to explain it to the customer, how to explain it to someone who doesn't know, about a liquor and they want to try something new. So I just taste Scotch,
tequila, gin, rum, vodka. I just had an adios. Now I'm gross.
That's probably why I don't drink, because I probably mix so much while I've been drinking. Like, I can't. But I definitely know a few drunk bartenders who...
A few?
Right.
There's many, yeah.
Many who have been passed out behind the bar, y'all.
Passed out behind the bar?
Oh my gosh.
You know bartenders who get passed out behind the bar?
Yeah, or get into fights.
Yes, I know bartenders who stir with their fingers, and I have seen some wild things.
It's a lot of people that put a nasty,
taste on us.
Taste on our profession just because they out there just wilding out, don't give a damn, at all.
Ugh, gross.
Well, what about it's easy to do this job?
It's easy?
That's one of the biggest myths we hear all the time.
It's an easy job?
Bartending is an easy job.
It's not easy.
All you're doing is just pouring liquid into a cup.
Have you
That's
ever
easy.
been in a restaurant and where you have to serve drinks, you have to serve food, you have a full bar, you have at least you have two decks, so you're looking at 30, 40, 50 people, and that's not easy when everyone is yelling at you. Yelling, screaming at the top of their lungs at you.
And I'm like, honestly, for me, the biggest part of bartending, people don't understand, it's a mental and emotional toll on us, because people legit will be arguing with you, cussing you out, talking to you like you ain't shit, baby. You this, you know what I mean? I'm not a servant.
Right.
I'm not, you know what I'm saying? A server, they have the word or whatever, but it's I'm not in that sense to be like when people tap the glass when they want to refill, people are rude.
Very. And the liquor brings the rudeness out of some people.
Facts.
Some people show their truest colors.
Absolutely.
Under the influence. And I am the bartender who is going to cut you off.
She said cutting off.
Listen, my beginning stages of bartending to the later stages, completely totally different way I would approach certain situations. In the beginning, I always was just suck it up. You go in the back and you kind of give yourself a pep talk and be just get out here and make this money, man, But it's after you've been in it for so many years, you're you know what? F you.
Right.
And what you talking about? Because you're not finna, you know what I mean? So of course I'm not gonna get into a brawl. I'm not going to argue with a drunk.
I'm just not going to have a discussion with you anymore.
I'm just I'm not going to take your shit.
I'm almost going to ignore you. I'm going to do it the least amount possible that you still will walk away and give me a slight amount of tip. But I'm not going to really fuck with you.
And it's all money ain't good money.
It's not at all.
Because there's some people who be like, oh, you don't want this tip? Not from you.
No, not from you at all. I'm set for the day. I made my number 3 hours before you got here. I do not need anything from you. I would need you to leave and to sober up.
Yep. So what about the one where they always assume just because you're a pretty bartender you like to be hit on?
That is the worst.
That's the worst place to pick.
My favorite are the old men.
Mine are too. I like my old men, 20 plus years.
That's my old fashioned old men.
No comment.
Country and I love the old daddies. I love when the old men come to the bars. They just are very, intriguing. However,
y'all better hope old men are up on technology listening to y'all podcast right now, because
they're ready. They've been missing us. So.
they not at the bar right now. Where are they?
They're private events, baby.
Hire me to come to your home.
This one.
I'm not discriminating on older men, but it's definitely not my cup of tea for sure.
So what you do for the youngins?
Absolutely not.
So you like to pour the teas like this?
Absolutely not. I mean, I like older than my age for sure, but not a huge gap.
Okay.
I don't know. For me, it's a certain way I think I like to lead life, and sometimes men in older settings, they're kind of set in their ways in that aspect. And I'm just kind of like, if you not budging, I'm not budging, what we about to do?
Right.
You know? So, yeah, that just doesn't work for me, I guess.
What about older women? Do you know those? They come in the bar too.
Okay, I have a question. So we have the names, like, okay, you have a sugar daddy, right? Which is an older dude spending. You have a sugar mama,
right?
Older woman spending. Then you have older women who just like take the spending part out of it, just the dating aspect. You have cougars. They like younger men or whatever you're into. What do you call the older man who likes younger, but it's not the sugar daddy spinning aspect? Like, what is their name?
Oh my gosh, mine have just been my boyfriends that happen to be older. I guess they don't have a title. All of my old men have really
a title. Should we
are
give
they
a title?
Panthers? Like, what do
Maybe
we
they
call
are
them?
Panthers. Yeah, I mean, if it's a cougar, you have to have something.
So we're talking about older men who just like
seriously
younger
are
women, but
dating.
it's not a sugar daddy. It's a real relationship.
Yeah.
Or is it the stereotype where it's like pedophile and that word gets thrown around?
first
But
of
I'm
all,
like,
you
everybody
didn't
is
even go
like,
there.
or pervert. Maybe I used the wrong one. Pervert.
I said
mean,
21 plus, you're not a pedophile if you're dating someone
Who's
younger.
70?
Yeah,
70?
I mean, hey.
I don't know.
I mean, I definitely think like the maturity level has to match. And I don't think there's really like an age on that. Like, I don't understand like in society
I
how
understand
we
that.
have like set these age standards where it's like someone at 21 could be in a completely different mindset based off of their experience in their life
Right.
than another 21-year-old. You can have a 21-year-old who's just like had everything given to them. They don't know nothing about the world. And you have a 21-year-old who's been like getting it out
On
the mud
survival
for the
mode.
past like 5
Let's
years.
call them
Like,
Panthers.
so we call them Panthers?
Let's call them Panthers.
Panthers?
Well, just no, we coined the name Panthers.
Panthers.
Right.
Like, that's where, yeah.
Panthers, come and find me.
This one.
I love the Panthers.
Maybe we need to do like a little, you know what I'm saying, contest and do a little dating show or something where, you know what I'm saying?
Jazz.
We can
she
have
wants the Panthers.
I do. That's a good idea. I would love to have some Panthers come on the show and talk to us. See what their outtake is on dating a extremely younger woman.
And taking him to a bar, and what would they order? Like what drinks and stuff? Because when you go to bars with guys, and what do they if they order an adios? You're on a date. You're on the first
That's a red
date.
flag. If
That's
I'm
a
on
red
a
flag.
date,
You're on,
Huge
you're
red
on
flag.
the first date, and you
Huge
go
red flag.
with your guy, and he's like, "Oh, can I get adios?" We're like,
No, huge
I'm
red
like,
flag. I'm
huge
going
red
to the
flag.
at that
bathroom and
point,
going
I'm
to my
paying
car.
for my tab. I don't even want you to
Getting
pay no more. I'm going to be
Right.
like, what did I order? Here's my money. Bye. Like, no, that's a huge red flag.
That's huge red flag.
back in college, cool. You order adios. I know we're going to have a good time. But at this day and age, you order an adios.
I feel like even back then it was a red flag for me because I'm like, why do you want me sloshed?
No, he's ordering it, not you.
Oh, for him to drink. Well, it's red flags all around.
all around.
All
yeah.
around. He's ordering it, not you.
All around.
He's like, oh, I'll get adios, and she'll have whatever she's having.
All around.
I'm like,
you
yo.
have no experience drinking
the
in
liquor
liquor
world.
worlds at all. Like, that's what you're ordering? No, red
yeah.
flag.
I agree.
What about when they always have, like, the myth that, like, when we're out serving and pouring drinks, like, everything's our fault? Whether, like, say you're in a place where you're serving food and their steak's not cooked properly. Like, you literally cooked their steak and you literally messed it up.
Well,
they're cussing you out.
I feel like customer service. Well, I know all three of us give excellent customer service wherever in any environment, whether the food is messed up or not. We always go in we take care of everything, right? That's great service. But for people to always assume that it's your fault and that you have to make the correction on it, that's not fair. I don't think that's fair.
it's not.
Sometimes we're just the face of it. Like, I'm not in the kitchen cooking. I'm behind the bar making the drink.
Right.
And it's like, for me, it's okay to be upset about, your food coming out incorrect. Like, you're paying for it. You absolutely
Right.
should get what you want.
Well, not
but tailor that energy and that anger appropriately. Like, I obviously didn't make your steak. I've been in your face taking your order and
Right.
serving your drinks for the last
Right.
10 minutes. You know what I
Right.
mean? So whatever. So I just feel like me, even when I go out, there's times where like things may not have been at the utmost quality, but I'm not going to curse out the person serving to me. I'm just going to be like, hey, look, I ordered this. Can you please fix it?
Yeah.
Right.
Plus, I don't want them spitting in my food or
Exactly.
Because we know what goes on behind the scenes. And
Oh
not
my
that we
gosh.
do any
Not
of
that
that,
we do
but
that
we have
at
seen.
all. Not
I
even a
have
little bit.
seen so
But
many.
Ugh.
I have seen, y'all, please do not be mean to anybody who is serving you
serves
a
you.
drink.
I don't even care if it's
food.
McDonald's drive-through.
I
I'm
do not
so
care.
nice to people.
I
If
have
they are
seen
touching your
so
food,
many things. I have I've seen people drop things on the floor and
pick
pick it up
Ugh.
and put it back in your drink. I would never do that to
Me
anyone,
neither.
but trust me, it does happen, especially if you are an asshole to the person serving you.
It does happen.
And it is disgusting. So be careful, be safe.
Yes, for sure.
How do you guys? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, babe.
How do you guys feel when you guys go out and you're on the other side of the bar? And the bar, you're there and you're like, can I get such and such? And they take 45 minutes to make you a water. Or
that's happened to me
a
one
vodka
place.
soda.
I'm very vocal.
I'm very vocal
I won't
too.
tell them
A
up
lot of my
front.
friends won't go out with me anymore because they're like, you're not on the job or you're not doing this. Even my parents said the same thing.
I'm not that far with it. I'm definitely like more like laid back and relaxed and allow them to serve me. And a lot of times I won't say anything until like the end. And I'll kind of be like, yeah, next time when, you forgot to put in my order, because I know that's what happened. You forgot to put in my order.
Right.
Just let me know. And
Right.
a customer will take that. And here's also a rule of thumb. I don't know if you guys see it or follow it, is on when you're out and we have to tip more than the average person has to tip, because it's kind of like a
absolutely.
pay it forward
Yes.
Right,
Oh,
for
type
sure.
of situation. If you don't
100%.
tip or you leave a shitty tip, you're gonna go to work
right,
and
and
make
you're gonna
shitty
shitty,
tips.
right.
Absolutely.
So it's like, even if I get terrible service, like
I'm
I still
still
tip.
Above and beyond.
30%,
At
40%.
least.
But if you give me like exceptional service, I'm gonna tip you crazy,
Right.
Yeah.
Like to
I'm
where you're
gonna
gonna be
match
like,
your
oh yeah,
bill.
she's in the
Yeah.
industry, she knows.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, let's get into our bartender advice, that we have for this week.
I think we had some call-ins
Yeah.
last week. What were they saying? What did they ask?
So the one we picked out for this time, we had a submission from Troy from Chicago.
Hey, Troy.
Hey, what's
Thank
up?
you. So he wrote in, I just started bartending about 6 months now. I work at a bar and get a lot of younger drinkers. How do I cut them off without starting an argument?
All right. I guess I'll start with that one. Without starting an argument, go to the other side of the bar. Ignore them. That's me.
Yeah.
That's me. I might give you 90% of juice and maybe a
I'm making
splash
you a
of
virgin.
liquor.
Oh yeah, me too.
I'm
Yeah,
making
maybe
you a
a
virgin.
splash. I'm telling the most sober person around you, like, hey, get your friends. I do not play, okay? Like, call me Judge Judy.
I start up a conversation to make them forget they ordered the drink in the first place. I'm like, oh, so you said, what about your this and that, or where were you yesterday, or how'd your day? What's going on with you? And then they forget they even ordered the drink, and then it's last call, and I'm like, oh, it's last call. I can't even get you another drink. To
What
make
if it's
them
midday?
then there's a couple.
I'm about to get off my shift.
I'm about to be off.
I'm heading
I gotta
out.
close out your tab right now. Like those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And letting the next shift of bartenders know, hey, do
Yeah,
not
you
serve
definitely
them.
want to always let your other bartenders, people around you, security, whatever, like, hey, he's cut off or
Right.
she's cut off.
Or order
don't
them
serve
food.
them anymore.
You can order them food.
Order
if
them
you're at a
food.
restaurant, order them fries or order them a
Help them
bread,
sober
something
up.
like that. Serve them extra water
And put it on you so they still feel like
yeah,
they're
like,
getting
guess what? I got
something.
complimentary
Here's some-
fries to you
Yeah.
today, baby. Those kinds of things.
Yeah, like, baby, eat this so you can stop getting on my nerves with your drunk tail.
Right. No, I mean, it's definitely a knack you have to learn, but I think it's case by case. You kind of have to gauge that person's energy. If they're like irate, I ain't got time. I'm getting security.
getting
like,
security.
hey,
But I've worked at
You
places
know.
where
Sure.
I'm the security. There's no one else there. So
Really?
yes.
I mean, I have too, and I stopped working at those places because I'm not putting myself in those situations anymore. I mean, definitely as a young bartender, when you're like learning your lane.
You're trying to.
Yeah,
you're
for
trying
sure.
to- yeah. I know it's a difficult. It's hard to put yourself in that situation because you don't know where the response is going to be, right?
Right.
For sure. But one thing to remember, they're drunk, you're sober. So don't argue with someone who's drunk. Don't engage in that kind of standpoint. Once again, if you guys want to get any advice or have any questions you want us to address hit us up on Instagram in our DMs. Hit the DMs.
Shaking Confessions.
Shaking
on
Confessions
IG.
on IG with an S. Shaking Confessions. Yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in.
You want to hear about what's going on our next episode?
Yeah, what we
talking
doing?
about drunk people. No, just kidding. We're gonna dive into the Bloody Marys, the micheladas, how to cure a hangover with a little hair of the dog, possibly.
Yeah, because that was me today. I definitely had a long light night last night. I'm definitely hungover. So
We're gonna have a couple
you should brought me
hangover
Bloody
stories
Mary
for you guys
today.
as well. So we hope you guys tune in, and we're Shaking Confessions.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. We
Thanks, guys.
appreciate it.